Hi, it's Victoria Cunningham here from Stretch Body Mind. And in this video, I'm going to show you the modifications for the original 34 exercises of Pilates as written by Joseph Pilates in his 1945 book, Return to Life Through Contrology. Just a reminder, those original 34 exercises were Joseph Pilates' routine, and many of those exercises are too advanced for our modern day clientele. So I am going to look at the exercises and give you the modifications. We have already looked at the original versions of these exercises when we were face to face. So this is an opportunity for you to go over each of the exercises and the various modifications. Some of the modifications are absolutely suitable for beginners, and some of them will actually be more suited to your intermediate or advanced students. So I want to show you progressions as well as regressions. So we're going to start with number one, which was the 100. And in our version of the 100, there are a number of different ways that we can change it. So we lie, knees bent, semi-supine, head on the floor, hands hovering, feet on the floor. This is version one. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the way, I don't have any problem with you going in 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just don't do it. It's a personal preference of mine, but you are totally allowed to do that. The second modification or version is the feet still on the floor, but the head lifted. Remember, when you lift your head, you're also lifting the very top of the shoulders, but keeping the bottom of the shoulder blades in contact with the floor. And that looks like in 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next variation is where one leg is lifted into tabletop, one foot is pressing into the floor. And again, in 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course, swapping sides, and then moving on to both legs in tabletop. In 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the final modification of the 100 that I want to see in your classes. Next exercise is the roll up. We do a modified version of the roll down known as the roll up, known as the roll down. So it looks like this. Knees and feet are hip distance apart, hands underneath the knees. We roll back, C-shaped spine, chin tucked in, navel drawn in, and then we inhale, lengthen up. So we exhale back and inhale up. Exhale back and inhale up. That's first version. Second version, hands are released. They're at a hover. Exhale back, inhale up. Exhale back, inhale up. The harder version of that, again, number 3 is exhale back, inhale here, exhale up. So you're holding it for that extra half breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. The further advancement would not be for beginners, but would be absolutely for intermediate or advanced students. Inhale, exhale back, and twist. Center and up, exhale back and twist. 2 movements per breath. Yeah, I had to think about that. And you can also advance that by twisting and pulsing the arms, just like you do in the 100. So you can play with that, various modifications of that. That is the roll up, also known as the roll down. The next one is the roll over. We don't do the full roll over, but we do have a version of it in Stretch Body Mind. And this is when you want to get someone from seated into that perfectly C-shaped spine for the 100. So we hold under the knees, round the back, chin tucks in, and we slowly roll back, head and shoulders stay lifted, legs are lifted, and then we take the hands. And surprise, surprise, we go in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's our version of the rollover. It's actually fairly simple, and I wouldn't probably do it in the first week or 2, but you might include it in a beginner's session. Next on our list is the one leg circle. Again, we've got a number of progressions here. One is knees bent, and then the hand lightly guides the knee. So whatever hand is moving the knee, the other hand stays on that thigh to stop it wobbling. And you're just guiding the knee with your fingers, with your hand, a few times in one direction, a few times in the other direction, just being in control of it. To advance it, only if your clients have the hamstring flexibility, the leg comes up straight, toes are pointed, you can't see that, but I promise they're pointed, and we circle very small circles on the ceiling, like the size of a 50p piece, and then we change direction. So this one, you need to have that hamstring flexibility. If the knee's like this and everything's shaking because the hamstrings are tight, stick with the bent knee version and just work on that. The third version, this is not for beginners, it's for intermediates to advanced, is keep the other knee bent and then lower to a hover, circle wide and bring up. So we call it the capital D. Okay, so we've got a straight line here. You can also change direction and circle it around. Okay, the full one leg circle would have this other leg straight, this leg working, but it's really quite challenging. So always stick to one knee bent, foot flat on the floor for support. Next on our list is rolling back, also known as rolling like a ball. I don't want you to roll back. Actually, the version of rolling like a ball that I recommend is rolling up from sitting. I use this quite a lot in class as a transition. So it looks like this. I don't tend to do it as an exercise in itself. Head is lifted, arms are lifted, and we rock slowly, gently with that nice C-shaped spine. Not much momentum. Legs aren't kicking, head isn't flinging back. It's the body just gradually finding its way up to sitting. So that is our version of rolling like a ball. In case you're wondering what I'm doing, I have everything written over here. And of course, it's just in our manual. Let me just flash it at you. And I can't half see it. So the next one on the list is the one leg stretch. We start this one with the head on the floor, the feet on the floor, one foot on the floor, and we're working on the hand position. So what I mean is the hand that goes across the body holds the knee. The hand that goes to the outside of the body holds the ankle. You can say left hand holds right knee, right hand holds right ankle. But that can confuse people if they're like me and they don't know lefts from rights. Then when we have that position, we go 2 pulls, inhale to swap, exhale. Once again, the hand that goes across the body holds the knee. The hand that goes to the outside of the body holds down towards the ankle. Inhale to swap, exhale. Inhale, swap, exhale. You can advance at number 2 by having the head lifted. Same thing. Making sure that they're getting that precision, one of those principles of Pilates, okay, before there would be any leg lifting. If they've gotten this, then we're going to take this leg from here to straight up in the air. Once they've gotten that, then we can lower the leg to 45 degrees, no lower. Okay, so keep it controlled. And the 45 degrees, that's for advanced students as well. So it's harder than it looks, okay? And really use it for all of that coordination, all of that concentration, all of that precision, and get the hand positioning right, rather than worry about the legs too much. The next one is the double leg stretch. It's difficult for me in this space to show you it, but we start with the arms only. Again, you can keep the head on the floor, knees bent, semi-supine position. Inhale, arms up, and then just let them play with that. Notice when the arms are overhead, what has happened to the lower back? We tend to go into an arch. So they have to adjust and imprint the spine with the arms, and they're not supposed to relax them. They're still working, okay? Then normally you would circle the arms around. Unfortunately, I put a table in the way. So it's inhale up, exhale, circle, okay? If like me, you haven't got the room, you can just come straight up in an arc and back down again in an arc. But if you can, we're opening the arms wide. Next version is the same thing, still only the arms, but with the head lifted. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, okay? And they play with that for a while. Next version, head could be on the floor and you're just hugging the knees in. So you inhale to stretch, exhale to hug. Inhale to stretch, exhale to hug. You can even take the hands away and just bring the legs in. Once you've done that, probably a couple of times, then you could work straight into having the head lifted. When the head is lifted, rectus abdominis is switched on, and it means we can actually take the legs to 45 degrees. Okay, inhale to stretch, exhale, bring those knees in. Inhale, exhale. After a few weeks of that, then it's the full version. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. This is one of the few exercises that you will eventually work up to the full version, as opposed to it always being modified. So that's quite an interesting one. It's also one of my favorites. Next on our list is the spine stretch. So I usually call this spine stretch forward, and it is a seated exercise. Now, depending on how hamstrings are, you may need to put a prop under the hips, or you might need to take the feet a little wider, because that can take some of the pressure off the back of the legs and the inner thighs. Whatever you're doing, you can just see my toe in the corner there. Keep the feet flexed. Our arms come up, we inhale, and as you exhale, the chin tucks in. It feels like the chest goes like so. The lower back stays straight, and you reach forward with your shoulders and your arms and the head. Then you inhale up and then exhale. Inhale up, exhale. It is not a yoga forward fold moving from the hips. It's much higher up. You're thinking really from the ribs, okay? Keep that low back as straight as you can get it. So that is our spine stretch forward. If you can, as I say, keep the feet flexed, it does give that additional hamstring stretch. The next one on the list is rocker with open leg. That is too advanced, certainly for beginners. So the modification for rocker with an open leg is rolling like a ball. And my rolling like a ball starts on the floor and rocks up to sitting. It does not start seated and rolling back. Next on the list is the corkscrew. The full version of this is really challenging, but actually the modification is lovely. We've got two modifications. First is knees bent, feet flat, arms can be out to the sides, and you just let the knees do a little side to side action. You can even turn the head one way as the knees go the other, and you can even hang out here. The harder version is with the feet lifted, so we're in more of a tabletop position. So we exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. With that one, play with the breathing, because it might feel easier to exhale to lower and then exhale to come back up again. So you've got to see how that works for you, okay? Next on the list is the saw. Again, we do modified versions because the full saw is an intermediate. At its lowest, it's an intermediate. So instead of having straight legs, we can take the feet into the diamond shape. Okay, we get that lovely diamond shape here of the legs. So we have the length of the lever, which is really important. And then we're also going to have the length of the arm lever by either folding the arms, taking them into Cossack arms, or holding on to wrists. In this case, I'm going to go Cossack arms. You inhale tall, exhale, twist and dip. Inhale, center and up, exhale, twist and dip. Center and up. No, up and center. You know what I mean. What I would say about the saw, you are better to do the spine twist. Okay, it would really be your modification. So we're going to look at that later on. Next on our list is the swan dive. I'm going to do it in this direction, so hopefully you'll still be able to see me, because otherwise it's a bit pointless. So our first modification for the swan dive is a cobra from yoga. So the cobra is where you lie prone on your stomach, hands under your shoulders, elbows close. Inhale, let the nose lift, let the chest lift. As you exhale, see if the hands would lift. The reason for this is we want to make sure the back is doing the work, as opposed to some weird, shoulder and wrist tension, okay? The back should be doing the work. The tops of the feet stay on the floor to help you lift that upper body. And you can do that one a few times. There's another version as well, which is a straight arm one. You take the arms out, keep the elbows locked, and begin to walk the hands in. Once you're there, you're lifted up. It's in this more passive back bend. And then you can just give the elbows a little bend, turn the head, and then come up, and then turn the head to the other side. So you can play with that one. The other version is the capital E. So what I mean by this is that you take your elbows so that they are level with your shoulders, and the hands and forearms and your head, if you were to lift them up, would look like a capital E. So we keep the feet on the floor, we inhale, just the head lifts. Okay, that's the first version. The forearms stay on the mat and you're just lifting your head. The second version is where the head and the hands lift. So there's that elevation. Try not to look forward, try to look down towards the front of the mat. Third version of this is where you inhale, lift, exhale, elbows back to the sides of your waist, inhale forward, and exhale lower. So inhale, lift, exhale, elbows in, inhale forward, and exhale lower. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale, lower all the way down. So that is a number of modifications or variations for the swan dive. And what I would say with those is really do play with them. A lot of our Pilates exercises are in where the spine is in flexion, and we don't have huge amounts where the spine is in extension. So it's quite a good idea to do variations on this. Having said that, our next one is another spinal flexion. So again, this is a passive back bend. Your elbows are under your shoulders and your neck is long, the body is lifted. I usually ask my clients, is the area above your belly button lifted? Yes. What about the area below the belly button? No. So let's try and draw it away from the floor. Imagine there was a match under your belly button, or a piece of glass, or an ice cube, or a drawing pin, something sharp and painful, and then the tummy pulls in. As the tummy's pulling in, you take one leg and you go kick, kick. Inhale, extend, exhale, kick, kick, inhale, extend. That's it. It's simple, but very effective. You're trying not to let the body sink as the leg kicks. You're trying not to come forward. You're trying just to kick, kick, and release. Kick, kick, and release. So that is our single leg kick. The next one on the list is the double leg kick. It is too complicated, so we're not doing it. The modification or variation for double leg kick is single leg kick. Okay, don't try it. It's going to really mess your head up trying to teach it. It's a very complicated, layered exercise that seems simple, but actually there's a lot of work in it. So don't complicate things for yourself. Just do the single leg kick. Next on our list is the neck pull. So do make sure that you protect your spine, perhaps go into child's pose or something before you come up. Now, the neck pull is another exercise which I would not want to see your beginners using, but this is probably people into a year to 2 years of classes with you. Okay, the reason for this is because too many people think that it is exactly what it said, that you're going to pull your neck, and we don't want to pull the neck. We want to actually use the core. So the hands are behind the head, the elbows, it's very similar to this, okay? Except with the hands behind the head, we add to the weight of the upper body going back. So it makes it a little harder. You will start to shake. The other thing is when we're going back, if I turn more to the side, when we're going back, normally the back is rounded. In this particular instance, you're going to hinge back. So your back stays straight and then come up, okay? So you hinge back as you exhale, yeah, and then you inhale and you allow yourself to come forward. So it looks like this, hands behind the head, elbows wide, inhale. Oh, you actually exhale back. Inhale here, and then exhale, round the elbows, round the back, and try to take those elbows past the knees. Okay, I'll show you that again. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, hinge back from the hips. Inhale, stay here, pretend you're loving it. And then exhale, elbows in, and the body rounds forward. Okay, so that is neck pull. That is your version of it, but please do not use it with beginners or even really intermediates, because they will inevitably pull their neck. Next on the list is scissors. Our modified scissors is lovely. So we're lying on our back. Oh, you can't see my, there we go, I'll turn that way again. Hands by your sides, head stays on the floor, and we do toe taps. So we're taking the leg and we're just lifting it and tapping. Lift and tap. The key here is that we're moving from the hip. We're not doing anything like this, you know, taking the leg all over. It's not a bicycle, it's just a simple toe tap. All right, then we can change it to a heel dig. So the foot is flexed, the heel is dropping and lifting. That's another version. So we do it on both sides. We can do both versions. We can also lift up one leg, it stays there, and the other leg works. This is a little more challenging, so do make sure the back is imprinted. That's it, and other side. Once people have gotten the hang of that, then we start to scissor. The legs never go straight, they always stay bent, we stay in control, we're tapping the floor with the toes, we're moving from the hips, and that is our modified scissors. The next one on the list is the modified bicycle, but I leave that out. I do the toe taps and the heel digs and those scissors instead of doing bicycle. So next on our list is shoulder bridge after that. Shoulder bridge starts with the pelvic clocks. So the feet and knees are hip distance apart. Hands can be here, you know, in that lovely diamond shape, fingers pointing down towards the pubic bone, thumbs up towards the navel, and you can do a little rocking forward and backward, forward and backward. From here, you can extend it a little bit more, where you're lifting the hips just a little bit and then lowering. I usually say to waistband height, okay? So people are trying to work that out. The breathing for this is exhale to lift, inhale to lower, exhale, lift, inhale, lower. Now, when we move from waistband up to bra strap or ribs, then the breathing changes. We exhale to lift, inhale, hold it, and then exhale to roll the spine back down towards the floor. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, roll up, inhale at the top, and exhale to slowly and gently roll back down. So that is our shoulder bridge. There's no kick, it's just that spinal articulation. Good. Next on our list is the spine twist. So with this one, legs straight out is really good. We're having this lever. If this feels like too much, by the way, again, you can take the feet into the diamond shape or a simple cross-legged position, and that should ease any pressure on the hips or the hip flexors. The hands in the Cossack position, twist, inhale, center. Exhale, twist, inhale, center. Now, there is a reason why I like the legs to be straight, and I'll show you this now. When the legs are straight and the feet are flexed, you can see what's going on. Some people get really into this and they are trying to twist where your spine doesn't twist. So let me show you. Look at the feet. And so as the person is twisting, they're not actually twisting the lumbar spine because it doesn't rotate. The rotation only happens at the thoracic spine and above. So this twisting is actually a misalignment of the pelvis. So if we can get the clients out of that bad habit as soon as possible, okay, they're probably better staying here because then they're going to feel it in a much better way. Really, they're feeling it from the mid-back and above. So that is the shoulder bridge. No, it's not. It's called the spine twist. Oh, what am I like? Okay, next on the list is jackknife. We do not do jackknife. It is contraindicated for issues around the neck. So thank God it's out. Next then on the list is the side kick series. So I'm going to show you a variety of versions, and you don't have to use them all. I certainly wouldn't use them all in one class. And you can probably think of a few more besides. Now, remembering the principle of control and that you as a teacher need to take control of your client, you're going to ask them when they are into the sideline to line the back of their body from the head to the tailbone up with the back of the mat. They're going to make their arm into a pillow, and then they're going to take their toes to the front corner of the mat so that they have this slightly bent alignment. Top hand, if they're feeling fancy, up onto the hip, or here in front. Now the first variation I'm going to do with you is actually the clam. So the knees are bent here, and you take your feet back to the back edge of the mat so that they're in line with your spine. From here, you simply exhale to lift the top knee and inhale to lower it back down. You can do as many or as few reps of this as you wish. It's not too bad. You're really checking here that people stay in a good central alignment, balanced on that bony part of their hip and not falling onto their back. Now there is a harder version of the clam where the feet lift to about hip height, and then we simply lift and lower that top leg again. Okay, so it's still doing that. Good. Perfect. So that's our second version of the clam. Next exercise is with those legs straight, and it's a simple lift and lower of that top leg. And you can lift it as high as you like. Most people will be able to lift it quite high, and it feels quite nice. It's really adductors that we're working here. And then we change this around so that we turn the leg out, knee points up. We're going to flex the foot, the toes point up. The bottom will be squeezing like crazy. And we kick again, up into the air and back down. Now, I play with this one. Sometimes I keep the foot flexed, or I kick it up flexed and then point to lower. Or I kick it up pointed and then flexed to lower. So you can play with that. Next variation, it really brings us on to one which is lovely, the arabesque, very ballet-like. We slide the foot up so your toes rest on the bottom knee. This knee is up in the air, not here in front. Okay, really make sure it's open. And then we kick with a pointed foot, and then we flex the foot and slowly lower with control. So slide up, pointed foot, kick, pointed foot, flex, and lower. I'll do it one more. Slide up, kick up, flex, and lower. Good. You can do it opposite. Lift up, bend the knee, and down, but it doesn't feel quite right. But you can do it. If it works for you, it works for you. All right. Next one on the list is where the leg is lifted to hip height. You can point the foot away, and you can draw teeny little circles, just like your single leg circle or your hip circle that we did earlier. Same thing, you know, small. You can make it slightly bigger. I get them sometimes to trace a 50p piece and then a magic circle, you know, that they're tracing the size of the magic circle. So that can be quite good. From here, flex the foot, keep that leg at hip height and kick it forward 1, 2, and then point the toes, come back. Notice this misalignment of my spine. Try to keep that back and upper body really steady. So you kick, kick, and point. Better. Kick, kick, and point. Okay, so you can play with that one. The other one that we have, there's a lot of playing on this one. My hip is killing me, by the way. Done all this work on the one side. We can do the one that I call hot potato or around the world, which is really where you lift up, you tap in front, lift up, tap behind. It is one of my favorites. What we do is we lift up and we tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and up behind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up in front 4, 3, 2, 1. Up behind 4, 3, 2, 1. And so on. You count all the way down to 1. So that's quite a nice one. Another one we have is where this leg lifts slightly higher than hip height, and then we lift the bottom leg up to meet it, and then lower both down. So up, up, and down. Up, up, and down. Okay, so there's quite a lot of work happening there. Then we can leave this top leg, let it rest, and just lift and lower the bottom leg. Probably my least favorite of all these sideline exercises would be that one. It's just very sore on that outer hip. So well done. That's a few variations on the side kick series. Okay, next on the list is teaser. This is not for beginners students. This is intermediate and above. And again, this is a modification. So I'm going to turn to the side. Again, it looks similar to our roll down, okay, our modified roll up. It looks, because the back is going like this, but actually the focus is on these legs. So I'm going to just move back so you can see those legs. So what you're going to do is sort of pretty much stay steady on your hips, extend the right leg up into the air, 2 thighs level, inhale, and on your exhale, take the hands away. So your toes are teasing your fingers, and you just stay here. Notice as you're just hanging out here and breathing, how your upper back goes lower and lower to protect you. This leg starts to get heavier, you see, so the back is counteracting it. The other variation of that is the moving leg. So I'll turn around slightly and I'll use the other leg. So the leg is lifted, inhale, exhale, release the hands, inhale to a hover, exhale up, inhale lower, exhale up. 2 more, last one. I usually do about 4 or 5 reps of that, no more. I think it's quite hard. So again, that is your teaser modification, only for intermediate and above. Next on the list is the hip twist. This is also known as the can-can. So in the original version, you're seated with the hands back. That's too challenging for us. So for most people, that is. We are going to come down onto the elbows. We take the feet up into the tippy toes, and we just do a little side to side rocking of the knees, okay? So that is our hip twist. The can-can can become more like a can-can because you go right, left, right, and kick. Then left, right, left, and kick. And so on. You know, you can play with that one as well. But that is our hip twist or the can-can. Next on the list is swimming. Now you can absolutely do swimming lying prone. I'm going to show you it briefly, but you're not really going to see much of it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's good to see it in a little bit in action. And then I'll show you the modification as well. So lying flat, arms extended, inhale, head is hovering above the floor. As you exhale, right leg, left hand, lift up. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. So we're just lengthening and lifting across the body. The modification for swimming is all fours swimming. So right leg, left hand, stay on this side and lift as you exhale, inhale, tap. Try not to go straight across the body. Just keep doing that right leg, left hand for however many reps you want to do it, and then swap. This is why. You go, you bring everything in, your back loses its stability, everything starts to go a little funny. It has lost the precision and the concentration, so it is better to stay really focused and go do the reps on one side first before you swap sides. The next one on our list, actually, that was the modified swimming, is the modified leg pull prone, which looks really, really similar, except the hands stay where they are. Instead, it's just the leg, and it's floating up and then tapping back down. Exhale, lift, inhale, tap. Again with this one, try not to be kicking the ceiling, letting your elbows come down, your back lose its integrity. Keep it about length rather than height. And again, do as many reps as you want on that side before you swap sides. I want to show you something here. You can then bend the knee. You can't see that, hold on. Bend the knee, flex the foot, and we're going to kick the ceiling. So you can do a little pulse there. So that can be quite a nice variation to add to leg pull prone. The next one on the list is leg pull back, which would be an upward facing plank. But in our beginners Pilates, we are not doing straight legs. We're thinking instead about keeping the knees bent and just being really in control of this. So this is the first version of it. Fingers point down towards the feet and you don't even lift. You just lift the chest. Okay, I have a number of clients who are post-mastectomy or just very weak, maybe have broken an arm or hurt or dislocated their shoulder, so I don't want them lifting. But this is going to give them enough stretch into the wrists and enough weight bearing into the wrists. Others will be able to scoop the bottom and lower and scoop and lower. Don't have to lift. I'm not about it being perfect and the hips hitting the ceiling or anything like that. You can even lift a little bit and then do some tricep dips. That can be quite nice. And if you want to advance that, you can take a leg kick as part of it, but I'm not going to include that here. So the next on the list is side kick kneeling. I am going to suggest that the modification for side kick kneeling for beginners is absolutely side kick lying, because it's the same leg kicking, but it's the alignment of the body. For many of my clients, they can't come onto their knees. So this is going to be too sore already. Or again, they might have wrist issues or shoulder issues or, you know, healing bones. But that hand would be level with the knee, fingers pointing away, and that leg, that top leg is your extended leg. And then you're lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering. You want to be really careful that this hip stays directly above and we're not in this sort of position, okay? Because that is absolutely going to put too much pressure on that supporting wrist. Okay, so my variation or modification of side kick kneeling is side kick lying. Good. The next one is the side bend, also known as the mermaid. I'm going to go this way for a wee change. Good. So when we're sitting in this, this is a seated side sort of exercise. Your hand, the supporting hand, is level with your hip and the fingers point away and you spread the fingers wide. Top ankle rests in the arch of the bottom foot, and that allows the knees to rest on the floor. Now there are two versions of this side bend. The first emphasizes the rotation of the spine, and the second emphasizes lateral flexion. So let's show you both of them, because I do use both of them. So the rotation is where you inhale, the hand is down, and then you exhale, you lift it up, reach it back, and look back at your thumb. Inhale, lower and inhale. I already said inhale. And then exhale, lift up. Okay, so that is our rotation version. Our other version, the lateral flexion, is where you take this top hand and you actually come up and over. Notice what happened to this hand. I bent the elbow, okay? So I come up and over, and then I come back up, okay? You can play with that one a few times, and then you can take the top hand onto the top ankle and take this hand up and over, which doesn't look very impressive, but feels really strong. This is the version of the side bend that I want to see from you. This is a beginner's side bend. There is no lifting of the hips. If you start doing this, you've moved into intermediate classes. If you're doing this, these are also intermediate classes. So don't lift the hips in your beginner's class. Good, well done. Next on the list is boomerang. There's another one we don't do. After that is seal. I'm going to show you seal. It is an intermediate exercise, and our version, you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so the knees open, hands go, the feet are together, hands go underneath and hold on to the ankles, round the back, chin tucks in, we rock back and we rock up and we go 1, 2, 3 with the feet. This is intermediate, absolutely. So our modification for the seal is rolling like a ball. Good. Next is the crab. The crab is another exercise which is absolutely contraindicated. It takes you forward onto the crown of the head. It takes you back onto the neck. It is just unsafe. So it is not practiced traditionally anymore. Next on the list is rocking. Now, Alan Herdman says that this exercise is too challenging as well, and he leaves it out. But as a yogi, I do a version of this in yoga. So I'm going to show you 2 modified versions of the rocking. And by the way, there's no rocking in these versions. The first comes after you've done your side kick. You know that one? Or that single leg kick. All right, that's what it's called, single leg kick. So after you've done that, you could bend that knee and then you reach back with the hand and hold on to your foot. Okay, that's it. Don't allow your body to lower to the floor. Stay up, okay, so that you get that curve in the spine. The second version is harder. It's on all fours. So we might have done a little bit of swimming across the body, and then we lift up, bend the knee, take the opposite hand back and grab hold of your foot. This is definitely not a beginner's one. There's a lot of balance required to stay up, and the back does go out of its beautiful alignment that you would have had it in swimming. But that is my variation of the rocking. The next one on the list is the control balance. We actually now leave that out as well because it brings you up onto your shoulders and the back of your neck. So it is contraindicated. There is no modification. And that brings us to number 34, the final exercise in Joseph Pilates' original 34, and that is the push-up. So our push-up is used at the start of class as a transition to bring you from standing onto the floor, and then at the end to bring you from seated back up to standing again to sort of do your final stretches and so on. So let me show you it from standing. The client, all of your students, you've asked them to go to the back of their mat, feet are hip distance, knees are a little soft, inhale, as you exhale, tummy pulls in, head and hands are heavy, and you can just do that hang forward. You can roll up and down a few times if that feels nice, but eventually you're going to get them to bend the knees deeply enough so they can take their hands out. Now watch the knees. The hands come out and those knees come to the floor at exactly the same time. This is really important because we're trying in our Pilates to keep people in balance. And if we are allowing them to come down, you know, one side first and then the other, it's about that misalignment, and getting them out of those bad habits would be really beneficial. Okay, if you feel like it, once they're down onto all fours, you could do a little box press up. If your clients are strong enough, you might even take them into a plank and do an actual push-up, but it is not necessary. Okay, so use the push-up as a transitional exercise. From here to transition back up to standing, we walk the hands back towards the knees, toes are tucked under. We come into that little squat. I keep the hands in contact with the floor, and then I straighten my legs. The head's hanging down, and eventually, slowly, gently, I release all the way up to standing. And you can't see it, but I do a nice big exaggerated roll with the shoulders. So just a reminder, The original 34 exercises, the 100, the roll up, AKA the roll down, the rollover, the one leg circle, rolling like a ball, the one leg stretch, the double leg stretch, the spine stretch forward. I'm only going to put in the ones that we're doing for beginners. So corkscrew, swan dive prep, the one leg kick, the scissors, the shoulder bridge, the spine twist, the side kick, the hip twist, swimming, and modified all fours swimming, the leg pull front, the leg pull back, the side bend with no lifted hips, the rocking if you want to, and the push-up. So that definitely wasn't 34. But you can play with the modifications. There's a lot of playing today. I've said that a load of times in this video, but that's what I want to do. I want to encourage a sense of playfulness while you experiment with these variations, and hopefully this video has helped with that. Thank you.